So today I'm going to do a little bonus video for you because we want to find out how the money moves. And, because a lot of the times we don't really know where the money goes, what part of the money is ours, what do we pay Shopify, and how does the money get to our store. So I'm going to be talking about what the financial process is from end to end. Okay. And this means that the whole financial process between your store, the credit card company, the banks, so you have some knowledge of how that money moves around. When you have to talk to your customer and say, why they didn't get their refund, that, hey, your bank has to approve it, then it goes to your credit card company, then it only comes back to us, okay? So I will post this again in the group I've actually got an image to show you exactly how the steps work, and then also a description of step to step for how the money works. And a lot of this I'll be reading off because it is a little bit confusing. But if you don't understand, then again, I've got it all written down. I'll post it in the group on a file so you can actually look at it yourself. Okay. So first, the merchant, there are 4 parts of how your money moves. Okay. So there's the merchant, which is the processor or the payment provider. There is the issuer, which is the credit card holder's financial institution. Okay, that's your customer, right? Then there's the acquirer, which is the merchant's financial institution, which is your financial institution. Okay. Then there's the card network, which is the Visa card, MasterCard, Discovery. That's as a separate institution. Okay. So the merchant, which is you, right? That is actually Shopify. So the merchant is Shopify, which is our store, our Shopify store. Okay. The processor will provide a number of functions to the merchant, which is you. The merchant is you, remember? First, they will register their business with the various card networks so they can accept all the payments that is required. Remember when we went, I will show you in your store, when we went to settings and we went into payments, very itchy nose, into payments. Okay, so these are all the accepted cards that these are all the accepted cards that we have view payouts. I had a payout. Okay, here we go. These are all the accepted cards. Okay, so when that's what we're talking about is the Shopify payment has made an agreement with all these cards so they can process the cards. Okay, the processor will arrange for the processed funds to be deposited back to the merchant. So if you are looking, let me go back here again. If you are looking at all this, they'll make sure that you get your money. Okay, they'll make sure that you get your money. So then, obviously within a few business days. That's why when you sell something, it takes a couple of business days to actually get your money in your bank. This is the money that you receive from your customers when they've paid a product. And obviously the processor, which is Shopify Payments, not Shopify, the Shopify is us, the store. The processor will provide the merchant with the equipment, the software, or the platform, which is Shopify, needed to perform for them to accept a credit card. So then we move, that's the merchant, okay? Then we move to the issuer, which is the credit card holder's financial institution. That is the bank that actually underwrites and extends the credit, and the banks backs the credit card that is extended on behalf of the card network. The issuer is the bank of the customer. Okay, this is the issuer. So they have a credit card that they're going to spend money on. I haven't got a credit card right here, but let's say this is the credit card. Okay, that's the issuer. they are going to make the money available to us. Then there's the acquirer, which is the merchant's financial institution, which is the merchant is you, right? The acquiring bank is a bank or a financial institution that processes the credit or debit card payment on behalf of the merchant. The acquirer allows the merchant to accept credit card payments from the card issuing bank within an association. And then, and I'll show you exactly how the path works. I'm just explaining every single part of who is involved in all this. Then we have the card network. That is Visa card, MasterCard, Discovery. The credit card networks are the bridge between you, the shops that accept your credit card, the shop that accepts the credit card, and the banks that issue the credit cards themselves. Okay? The payment network is an intermediary between all the various elements. So that's the card, is between our bank, our shopping platform, and the customer's bank and their bank account, their money, right? The payment network is, I've already said that. They make sure that the authorization and the funds movement are properly directed to ensure the money is appropriately distributed. Okay, so we know that, so there are 4 processes. There's the authorization process, there's the capture process, the clearing, and the funding. So when we're looking again at our, I wonder if it's in here. No, it's not in here. Okay, so remember here, this authorization, fraud protection, this is all got to do with where our money goes. This is the money from the customer that goes into our bank, okay? And so when we're looking at, and I think it was checkout, no, checkout, no, okay. Actually, then it's still in payments. Hang on, I'm in payment provider. Okay, here. Sorry. Here, payment capture, right? Payment capture is automatically captures payments for orders or manually capture payments for orders, okay? So the customer's payment method is authorized and charged automatically. But there are a few steps that that the funds go through before it happens. So here is a complete image that I created. So just to explain to you how the money moves. So the customer buys something from you and pays with a credit card, right? Then you, the merchant, as in your store, you request payment authorization. So your payment authorization is going to go through the processor, which is Shopify, PayPal, Amazon, who else do we have? Third party gateway. That's is the processor, okay? Then that goes to the credit card company, which is MasterCard, Visa, Discovery, whatever, American Express, determines the issuing bank. So here the credit card gets that authorization, goes, okay, so where do I send this information to, which bank? Because any of these credit cards, remember that a bank issues, we have thousands of banks, right? Every bank has a Visa or is a MasterCard or whatever card they have that they use so that people can use it as a credit card, right? Think of that. So that card determines which bank does that card belong to, okay, the credit card. Then that goes through to the issuer, which is the bank, right? That is the bank of your customer. Decides if the authorization is okay. It doesn't matter whether it's debit or credit, doesn't matter, okay? Then they approve the authorization. Then it comes all the way back to your store, right? And here the payment is approved and the order is created. So you determine whether it's going to be automatic or whether you're going to do it manually. So if this is automatic, right, goes through, you don't have to make any decision. If it's not automatic, if you are stopping it right here, then that means that that the payment is not going to go through. Okay, that means the payment's not going to go through. So unless you actually push the button. So here the payment is approved, the order is created, okay, and we capture the payment. The store, our actual store, in the back end says, okay, I can now capture this payment because it's been approved by the bank, by the issuing bank, by our customer's bank. Now what we do is we don't have to do anything. They send payment information through all these, again, through processor, credit card company, issuer, to the acquirer, which is Stripe. So the acquirer is Shopify Payments, is like a bank, or it's the bank that Shopify Payments uses, and they use Stripe. PayPal obviously uses PayPal. Your third party processor uses something else, right? So they then receive the payment information, okay? Then it goes request funds, right? The request funds goes through the issuer again, goes to the credit card company, and it doesn't come all the way to us. You know? This is now happening in the back end. They transfer the funds go through the issuer again, and then the acquirer receives the money. So Stripe, PayPal now receive the money. Okay, so we've already got the order through, and this happens within seconds. We know this, okay? Doesn't happen within seconds, depends on the bank. So we grab the information from the credit card company, from our customer, and it goes through all these hops. So now you understand why we only get the funds here, because it has to go through all these merchants, and it happens a couple of days, right? It has to go through all these merchants, processor, card company, issuer, the banks, everything, before it comes back to us and we actually get the money. Okay, so now you have to think about what happens if we give a refund. It has to go through all these little things, okay, through all the path to get back to our customer, because to their account. So this is the reason that I wanted to do this, because it really explains to you when how you get your money, and why your money only hits your account like in 3 days, right? So for instance, if it's after banking hours, I know this is all through computers and everything, but literally somebody might have to touch it, depending on your customer's bank, depending on the acquirer, which doesn't normally, it's automatic, right? And all the checks and balances that it has to go through before that money actually comes back to you. So that's why when you say, hey, you know, Shopify, why haven't I got my money immediately? It has to go through all these steps before you can get your money. It has to make sure, so the merchant and the processor is making sure that there's actually money, okay? Then it actually receives the payment information. Then it says, hey, I need that money. Then it goes, okay, the money's coming through. Hello, people. Then it receives money and fund request, and then transfers the money, okay? Then all that money goes all through all these steps back to the merchant, which is you. It is all the checks and balances that goes through every single process to make sure that this is a legit credit card being used, the customer is legitimate, the acquirer, the bank, you want all this process behind you, because you know that there are possibilities when there is a fraud. Okay, when there's fraud, then this won't be approved by the bank, because they have, okay, I need the zip code and I need the CSV, and if they don't have the CSV, then they go, I'm sorry, this card it's something's not gelling there, right? I will promise right after this, I will put all the steps that every single thing that your credit card company does. And I hope you understand. I know it's not the easiest thing to understand, but I think that little image that I created makes a lot more sense than just talking about it. So there's one little thing that I don't think I mentioned about the fees. Okay, so any of these, when you're talking about Shopify fees, okay, all of these people, okay, so every single hop, everybody takes a piece, right? And then it comes back, they take another little piece, then come back, takes another little piece. So all these little hops that it does, somebody gets paid. And that makes up the 2.9% or the 2.5% or whatever your credit card company, your payment provider charges you. That is why they charge you, because all these banks, credit card companies, processors, they all have to get their little piece because they have people working for them, right? And we're all in business together, and they make it possible for us to actually process the credit card. So that's another piece I wanted to add to you, so that you understand exactly what happens with your money and where does it go. And it happens in an instant, right? It happens, the first part happens in an instant. Then there's, it'll stall maybe for a as you can see when you issuing and when you do a sale, when you have an order, that sale goes through, and instantly you will know whether it's a fraud alert. So the first part of the process is instantaneous, right? It's when that what's the 4 steps that I talked about? Hang on. The 4 steps I talked about is authorization, capture, clearing, and funding, right? So that is seems to happen extremely fast, but this is how fast things work nowadays, because they don't have to pick up the phone and authorize their credit card. No funds are transferred at the beginning of the stage. It's only halfway through the stage. Okay. Anyway, so I hope this makes sense. I was dying to give you guys some information. This is the steps that I'm going to this is what I'm going to actually copy and paste out of my book, by the way. I'm going to copy and paste this exactly. 6 steps, captures, funding, exactly how these things work, and post it in the group so you can see it and read through it. Maybe listen to me and read through it. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, and we can obviously talk about it in the question and answer next Friday. I might actually do a little bonus video for you guys tomorrow. Also got to do with financing, all about financing. This is how we're going to get paid. This is where we have to understand the bottom line of how things work. In fact, what I'm going to do is I will probably do a bonus video about how to calculate your overheads and your variable cost and your fixed cost and how many units you need to sell. That's another bonus video. I'll do that tomorrow. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys have an absolutely splendiferous day. It is Friday, and we are ready to celebrate the weekend. Bye.